Dear Heavenly Father, we praise you for a beautiful spring day. We thank you for bringing us together to transact county business. We thank you for those that are here in attendance in support of particular agenda items, and we're grateful for those that serve the county, and we ask for wisdom, direction each time we gather together to make these decisions. We ask for your blessings upon our community, our town, our county, the folks that support us with their taxes, and the residents that live here. Continue to bless Mount Pleasant and Titus County. We pray for our first responders and our servicemen and women, wherever they may be. Please bless our state legislators, our governmental leaders in Washington, and give them the strength and decision-making ability that's according to your will. Bless our agenda now, and we turn it over to you in Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, for the record, today is our first meeting of the month of April, and this is the 9th day of April 2018, 9 a.m. We'll begin item 1, our public comments time. This is time for requests for non-agenda items. If you would like to, you may step up to the mic and address the court. This is so that we are in compliance with our Open Meetings Act. Anyone like to speak at this time or want to apprise me about your desire to speak on an agenda item? Item number 2, then, consider and possibly approve. Yes, sir.
I just want to verify we have the trash issue on the agenda for today.
There's a copy of the agenda right there.
Where?
Right there. Can't you see it? And if you'll note item number 10.
Yes, sir.
Discuss alternatives to providing dumpsters during the week. Thank you for volunteering to pick up trash for us, Buffalo. Anyone else? Public agenda comment time. Item number 2 would be to consider and possibly approve minutes from our last meeting. That was back on March 26, our second meeting of the month of March. We have minutes prepared by Joyce that we need to approve.
Make that motion.
Motion's made by Commissioner Applewhite for approval.
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, we've got a few items here to deal with in regards to our road engineer department. So, Roger Ledbetter, if you'll come up and tell us what's going on in the road department, please, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Well, the first thing that's going on this morning, we got 5 locations where we had trees down over the weekend, so we're working trees this morning. We got 2 crews out working trees. We had a couple of big red oaks, or big oak trees fall this weekend, about 30, 36 inch diameter. Took out some power lines and stuff with it too, so we're cleaning those up this morning. All the dumpsters were picked up by last Wednesday afternoon. All the dumpsters were picked up and all locations were still free of trash as of Friday afternoon. We ended up with a lot of tires from the sites, and we will end up with a lot more when we pick up the tires that they fished out of the dumpsters at the dump ground. So we're going to end up with a bunch of tires this year.
Yes.
We're still patching potholes throughout the county, still working on structure ends that washed out. Replaced several cross drainage structures that were rusted out and not draining, and still have several more cross drainage structures on our list to be replaced. We fixed several base failures using the coal mix we made in our mixing yard. We plan on continuing to fix base failures throughout the county using the coal mix we make in the mixing fields. We started hauling wrap to County Road 1915 east of County Road 1920. We are scarifying the existing road and blending wrap with the existing material and laying the surface back down. We plan on coming back later and mixing fly ash base into these sections to stabilize this material. And this week we plan on starting working on County Road 1065 This is one of the first ones that's on our list for the seal coat prep. So that's kind of what we got going on right now. Y'all have any questions on what we're doing?
I've got another call on it, 3290,
3290?
that we'll
Okay.
discuss about tearing them, ripping up and mixing.
Yeah, we're probably going to add some fly ash base to it, is what we're looking at doing.
Any news on your water truck?
No, we're having some issues with the water truck right now with the tariffs that they've imposed. Our water truck just went up to $3,000 more because of the steel prices. So that may get us out of the $50,000 range now, we're not sure. I think Dana's got one we're going to look at. I think we're working on it to get it running right now.
You guys run it, I'll get hold of it.
Is it running yet?
I think so, because the hood and stuff is down on it.
All right. So we may, if we get it, we're hoping we can get it under $20,000. What model was it, do you remember?
2,000,
The 2000 model?
had 21,000 miles on it.
Yeah. It sounded like a pretty good deal. If
It's been on a
decent
dirt
shape.
track in Arkansas. That's all it's ever been. Motorbike track.
So I don't know how many options we're gonna have again, but the tariffs are, that's-
Well, I know you need something pretty quick, and Dana was telling me about that one. Maybe that one would be not necessarily a long-term addition to your equipment, but maybe a pinch get us through until maybe the prices come down on those water trucks, maybe.
Well, we still
in the
haven't given
season.
up on the water trucks as far as the new one, but what they're telling us right now, this morning, that's probably gonna be $2,000 more. Or
Okay.
at least $2,000 more,
Okay.
just because the steel price is going up. But hopefully, Dana's found us one out there we can use, and it'll work out. If it does, then we'll be in pretty good shape, I think.
What was that term you used that you were doing to scar the road?
Scar fine?
What do you use to do that?
We use a maintainer right now for this road. We're using, the maintainers have ripper teeth on the back of them. And what we do is we take the maintainer, the road's in pretty bad shape up there on 1915. And what we're doing is we're using the maintainer and the scar fires to rip it up and chew it up some. Then we're adding the wrap to it. Then we're taking the blade and smoothing everything back out. A lot of oil field traffic up there. I don't know how long the section we're looking at, but from 1920 over to the tank batteries,
2.5.
most of that was in pretty bad shape. People were actually driving off the edge of pavement to keep from driving on the road. So we had 3 or 4 foot where they were driving actually off the pavement into the dirt to miss the potholes and stuff in the middle of the road. So it was in pretty bad shape. We need to do something to it.
Any questions for Roger?
Roger, I need to, Friday, I met with Longview Bridge on that Parker Road where it's laid out on the side and stuff.
Okay.
And they said where they'd got over in those yards and stuff, got over, might have missed a tree or whatever. They said they would haul dirt in there and level that back up and get the yards back the way they're supposed to. And I talked to Philip just a little bit, and they said they'd do the same things they did last time, is that they would fix that shoulder where the big holes are.
Okay.
Pay for the ash, and they would get it.
All right, so we're paying for the fly ash base, and they're gonna haul it and place it just like they did last time?
Because they wallered it out pretty bad with
Okay.
all this rain.
All right.
When will they do that? At the end of their bridge
I
job
asked
or
him to
quicker?
go talk to everybody down there that he got on their property and tell them what he was gonna do. He said they would do the dirt work and stuff for nothing.
But will they do it in a timely fashion or
I
not
think they're
until the
planning
end
on
of their?
doing it this week.
Are they done with the traffic down those roads?
No.
No, they still like a good bit, I think.
They're ahead of
Think they still got
schedule on that bridge going to, out to the airport, but you're probably looking earliest July.
Oh,
Yeah, I would think so. So we'll fix it this time, we'll probably have to fix it again.
Well, they said they'd do whatever.
And we're
They
just
could.
fixing our part, we're not messing with the city's part of it. The city
Yeah.
had never touched theirs.
Okay.
So there's pretty good drop-off on the city portion of it right now.
There's some bad drop-offs. I was going to try to get with the city and see what they could do to help out there.
Well, I just hope that their commitment will include attention to that now rather than at the end of that bridge job. Even if that's July, I think that'd be optimistic
They said they
for
were
July.
going to do this work pretty quick. Where it's holes and they got all the people's yards and stuff like this. And I had several calls about it, and I was letting Roger and them know about it, and I just stopped and talked to them, and they agreed they'd do this and this, and they would take care of it. They'd get it back.
Okay, good.
And then I guess at the end, they're actually going to haul some topsoil back in to cover up the fly ash base and get grass growing again. Didn't they commit to that? They're still committed to that.
They just said they'd take care of it,
Okay.
and unless you're happy, I'm not happy.
We just got to make sure we remind them of that
That's
before we get to
right.
the end, before they get out of there. Okay.
Also on 2500, the company that's hauling out cranes and stuff like that, cutting them up and stuff, they said they didn't like much 2 or 3 weeks. They're down on the base of it, and they're supposed to get a hold to you
When
as
they
soon as they
finish up
get
everything.
through, and you go through with them and show them what you want done. They take care of it.
Are they going to do the work, or are they just going to provide material?
My understanding, they're going to take care of everything.
Okay.
Do the work, hire or contract somebody out to fix those spots that they tore up.
You might want to clarify that with them,
Okay.
see exactly what they
I'll
plan
get
on
with
doing.
Dale and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Roger. Who's going to address item number 5, consider and possibly approve hiring of additional road hands and setting their pay? I know you were trying to fill some spots there. Number 4, back up. Consider and possibly approve Department of Transportation physical. And I understand this is making a decision as to whether the county will pick up the cost of these mandatory physicals that our drivers have to have.
Yes, that's what that goes with their CDL license. They have to pass the DOT physical to renew their CDL license every year.
Been our policy in the past. We hire somebody in the past and they come on board because we pay for the physicals, what we've been doing, what we've done.
This is required for the CDL though, and we haven't had that in the past. We did get some of the CDLs, and I did pay for the physicals about 2 or 3 years ago on the guys that drove the trucks.
This is a new requirement? What's new about this?
It's
It's been around.
The county had never done it before.
Okay.
But they're required, and I think Sharon and some of her dealings about having a CDL. We're required to over 30,000 pounds, or most
I think
of our
it's
trucks are
over
required to have a
26,000.
CDL.
Yeah, most of our trucks require CDLs.
Who are we using for these doc physicals?
We've used various doctors. We haven't tied it down to just one.
The other thing is that there may be a way to tie these businesses in. We would require all the employees now to have a physical every year. Now, I don't know if it's this detailed, but
It's-
DOT is not every year, not every.
Well, some of them are, I think, just depending on what
They
conditions.
can implement this into that part of the vision, which they pull the insurance.
Yeah, I don't-
all the wellness program.
Yeah, I don't think the doctors will do them at the same time, though. They're still going to get their 2 appointments.
Got a lot
too.
of paperwork.
So do we do different things?
Yes,
One of them can't.
apparently not. I think some of the guys tried to do that, and they wouldn't let them.
Why couldn't we accept text stock physicals? Why would that? I agree with you. It's a physical.
The DOT physical, most of, always where that's what I've done. And we have a doctor set up to do it at a set price. You send him to him, and usually give us a good price because we send him a lot.
Is that what we want to do? I mean, we want to just set up one doctor and,
we need to have a contract or a writing or something.
They have to fill out some papers. The doctor's required to fill out some DOT papers.
You might want to check on pricing. Is this what Charles Matkin does? He started doing a few years ago. Yes. Yeah.
I think he does,
So that's a physical. If they would allow a chiropractor to do that, I doubt if that same physical would qualify for our annual wellness. But I don't know. But I would just say check on pricing with him and I don't know whoever else you may have used in the past.
To me, if you get a text doc physical, make a copy of it, and that counts. I don't think you should have to have another physical. Do you? That should count, because they check you out.
Well, it may be a totally different set of criteria. And it's not going to be registered with UMR.
But it could be.
It should be.
All we gotta do is have it run through our company. It's strictly our policy to have it.
Okay,
That's right.
but again, I have no idea what the criteria is for each of these physicals. It may be different information. But check on it. We're asking for up to $75.
Well, we had another issue come up with one of the employees. When he went to take his DOT physical, they wouldn't approve or they wouldn't pass him unless he went and seen a cardiologist. So he had the cost of going to the cardiologist too.
Well, I'm not sure that that's county responsibility if
Right,
that's,
we just need to clarify whether it is or isn't.
I mean, that's a tough call. They're saying you've got a potential problem, you better go see a cardiologist. Then I guess our current insurance, comes into
Right.
effect. And if he can get his family practitioner to send him there, then I imagine he could see that cardiologist for the cost of an office visit.
Okay, so we just paid for strictly just the DOT physical. Nothing else
Well, I don't know, we hadn't voted on anything yet.
That's our thing, we're going through the regular insurance program, the employees, they got it.
It's basically a wellness deal that he thinks something's wrong and he needs to be checked out further. That's the doctor's call.
Okay. Well, the agenda item here is we're going to pay for a dot physical up to $75.
Make a motion that we do.
Motion's made to approve this,
Second.
and second by Commissioner Riddle, and that is to pay up to $75 for DOT physicals for those required to have CDL. And I would ask that you obviously shop the best price if we're only giving them up to $75, and maybe we can make a deal even better if we get it all to one person, but I don't know. We're not going to require them to do that since we're only paying up to $75.
Then aren't they all good at different times of the year?
That's correct, at different birthdays. And then if they've had problems in the past, then it's once a year. If there's no problems, then it's every 2 years.
Okay. Okay. I saw a hand over here somewhere. Okay. Hand back here. If you'd like to come up to the mic.
When you go work for a trucking company, you're required to have a CDL physical, a CDL license, and so forth. The companies don't pay for it, you do. So why would we be paying for their physical examinations when in fact that's their responsibility?
No, I think, I was saying, he did that.
Most everybody that I've worked for has new employee had to have the CDL and the physical. But after that, regular employees, I've always, everywhere I've ever been, we've paid for the physical, if it was required.
So that's pretty much the answer to that.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the county paying for DOT physicals up to $75, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Now we'll go to item 5 to talk about hiring of additional road hands and setting pay rates. Is that going to be you?
Yes.
Okay.
We finished up our interviews. Dana sat in on our interviews. Al sat in on a few of them. We come up with 3 good applicants we're looking at after the interviews. Of course, we've had 2 of them. We got 2 slots that are approved to hire previously by the commissioners. And another thing we need to look at is we need to establish a starting pay rate so I can make job offers. And I told them when we interviewed them, it was probably going to be between the $16 and $20 range. After talking to my guys, most of them think we ought to start them around $17 and then move them up after they get a little experience.
Okay.
What are y'all kind of thinking on this?
Why can't we use the same process that TxDOT?
We can, but we're still going to have to come up with a starting rate.
Okay. Well, that depends if they got, what kind of experience they got.
Most of these, all 3 of these candidates have a lot of experience operating equipment.
$17 okay with me.
Now, I don't want to bring them in too high and upset our existing employees, because there's going to be a lot of stuff they probably haven't ran. You know, a lot of our equipment, bucket truck, bow mag, stuff like that, they hadn't run. And they still got some stuff to learn from us, you know. So,
Okay. What do y'all think about 17? Yes, no?
I think it, yeah.
With the
I mean, that-
experience they've got,
It's going to be,
yeah, it's got good experience.
they got good experience, I don't have a better problem with 17. Because it'll take you, with somebody with no experience, it's going to take you 5 years to get them where you want.
Right. Yeah, it'd take a while. It really
But
would.
if they got the experience, you're paying, that's what you're paying for.
And all these,
Your productivity will go way up with somebody that knows what they're doing.
and all 3 of these guys, you know, we're looking at, all of them have been through a real good safety program. And I think that's a big plus for all of them.
Okay, are you hiring 2 or 3? You said 2, and then you said you got 3
We
applicants.
got 2 that were approved by the commissioners previously. We got 3 good applicants.
we got 3 openings though, too, though, right?
We've
Say
got enough money in the budget to pay for 3.
Was, but there was, it's in the budget already have, you got 13 right now?
Yes,
You need, it's going to cost for 16.
yes. Yeah, we've got enough money in the budget for 16
It's
people.
in the budget already for 3.
And we do have 3 good candidates.
Well, we previously approved 2.
Right.
So if you want to hire 3, you need to consider that. If he's got 3 good applicants, does that mean you ought to hire all 3 of them, or are we good with the 2?
I make a motion to hire 3 of them.
Why can't you, can we wait till they start seal coating and another 2 or 3 months or something before we hire another one, or whenever the weather clears up, we start?
Well, the way the grass is growing right now, we'll probably start mowing here in about 3 weeks. It'd be nice to have them when we start mowing.
Yeah, that puzzled me why you want them to have so much experience. You gotta have somebody that does mowing and so forth.
Yeah.
That's where I started my youngsters all in.
Well, I got to get them in
Tree
there.
cutting and mowing, they didn't have to know how to operate a backhoe to do that.
Yeah. But if you can find people with good experience and they can do other jobs for you besides mow, I'd rather have them.
Did you make a motion for 3? At what pay rate? At 17 on all 3 of them? Okay, well, I've got a motion there, if anybody wants to second it, or if you want to come up with an alternative.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion is to, and you've checked all 3 of these guys, and they're all hireable, and
Yes.
or you need to do a little more research on it?
Now, I'm satisfied with 3 of them. Dana, you're satisfied with them, aren't you?
Did we give a physical to new employees?
Yes.
No,
Unless they've had a physical.
we haven't been, have we?
I think we should.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea.
And what would you do if they didn't perform well in a physical? Say, sorry, I'm not going to
I
hire
think when
you?
we hired Jeff, did we give you a physical? I didn't think so.
No.
But the sheriff's office, they
Do you want to hire them pending the outcome of a physical that we would pay for? I mean, how do you want, let's be real careful on this.
I would,
Judge?
I would send them to get a physical, we'd pay for it before we hired them.
Yeah, it's
They got
contingent on
something
their
wrong,
being
right?
hired as they pass the physical.
A DOT physical?
Well, they all have a CDL license
Yeah,
anyway.
all three of them have their
So
C.
they'll have to pass the CD, or a DOT physical anyway, to keep their CDL license.
Okay.
Brian,
Sir.
that's something that I think we are going to try to address in the deal, or CDL policy that I'm working on. I hope to have it here within just a couple of weeks, maybe get it to be approved. And that's something that on our CDL people and all that we hire that we need to address. If I'm not mistaken, it's in the one of the policies that I've looked at that they are required to take a physical.
CDL license currently, they've taken the physical within the last year or two, right? They have them every 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Do they all three have their CDL?
One of them has his learner's permit.
Other two have their?
They have their
permits?
CDL.
I don't know why, if they've already got a CDL, they've already had a physical and stuff.
Why don't you, but before we hire somebody, and again, show up, a problem shows up, and you go, oops, sorry, we don't want to hire you, why don't you make their hiring contingent upon passing a physical? Let's say if they haven't had a physical in the last year, maybe something like that, that we pay for a fresh physical.
Well, it wouldn't hurt to have a physical anyhow. Now, we're talking about a
Now,
DOT physical?
the problem is if
or
they're
we
not
talking about-
insured, if they're not on our insurance, that bill for that physical is going to be different.
Yeah.
We have a lot of them that pay physicals like that. Like Ross said, the sheriff's
Sheriff's
department
department,
does
everybody they hire
the
them.
physical at new hire.
Okay.
I mean, my
Are we-
preference would be a physical and a drug test.
I mean, I think that's the
I think they do
way
both.
the sheriff's department
And what kind of physical is it? Just a routine physical?
Or a dot physical.
does. I just have to ask them.
Yes, the physical.
Okay.
Well, do you want to require a DOT physical, which may be different from a physician's annual wellness physical?
Yeah, I think that probably would be better. I think the DOT physical is probably going to be more comprehensive than the regular physical.
I think so.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Never have been for me.
They want your eyes, ears, and that's about all they check.
So just a regular physical then?
No, I would, I prefer a regular physical before you hired a new guy.
Well, just say you're hired contingent upon
Right.
passing a physical, so that we can say, well, sorry, we're not hiring you because you didn't pass a physical.
What about the drug test?
Drug test too.
You know, a CDL now, you ever so often, you gotta get a drug test. Each one of those drivers that have CDLs.
That's Class A. What about a Class B?
We have
Same
Class
thing.
A, we got over 6 tons on those dump trucks.
Yeah, anything over 26,000 pounds, which is
Well, I
most of our
understand that,
equipment.
but the thing I see that's got over 26,000 pounds is the 18 wheeler.
No, even some of our 6-yard trucks are over 26,000 pounds.
Loading too much on that.
No, that's the gross vehicle weight. That's what it's rated for, is more than 26,000 pounds.
I agree.
Okay.
So physical and drug test, and we're paying for it?
I don't think they have to be anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the motion is, we haven't voted yet, is to hire 3 employees that have now been identified, contingent upon them having a clear physical, and drug test at $17 an hour. All right, that's the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Roger. We'll let Jeff address the next item. Next item is, and this is an idea that Jeff Cates came to me at least, maybe some of the rest of you, talking about some uniforms, standardized uniforms for the road crew and the maintenance crew. And Jeff, what can you tell us? And you've obviously got a gentleman here with you to clarify some things.
Don
Burrows.
Burrows?
Yes.
He's with UniFirst, and he's the one that I've been talking to about getting the prices on the uniforms and everything for us to do this with. What we had looked at for pricing uniforms for 18 employees, and that's going to run us $117.52 a week. And I got a printout here of the contract, and that includes right now we've got 2 3 to 5 mats included in that. Now, this is something that we think that we could also use. The county, I know the courthouse over there had mats as well that they use at the entrance and everything, and right now we're washing them and having to pay somebody to go wash them, hang them up, dry them. The mats are $1.82 a week to get the mats. We could include that in with this package. You just have to pick them up at our shop and bring them up here. That would help us lower the cost on it.
That's on a 3x5 mat.
That's on a 3x5 mat, yes.
Usually if you have 2 doors, we put a 4x6 mat to cover that space. But your single door entries are 3x5 mats.
So, looking at it from the standpoint of the cost per employee, you're looking $339 a year per employee to get the uniforms. That includes a work shirt.
Besides the clothes itself, what that includes is we pick up the dirty clothes, drop off the clean clothes. We wash those clothes. We also do everyday wear and tear repairs on those clothes for free, small tears, buttons, anything like that. And then we bring the uniforms back, and we do that on a weekly basis. And this is all through the Texas Buy Board. We have partnered with the Texas Buy Board, so the pricing has been established by the Texas Buy Board through their regulations, which it lays all this out on their webpage with all their people who do business with them, as far as doing with municipalities and schools and things like that.
And there is no upfront cost or anything to get into it, because it is a government buy board. That's waived, so.
Yeah, there is a substantial discount going through the buy board compared to our regular pricing. Everything across the board, as far as the cost of the clothing, the service, the delivery and pickup fee, it's all been discounted through the buy board.
I'd like to make a comment that I have information here that the taxpayers, especially the taxpayers and other county employees, need to know. The county has had 1 mechanic and 1 helper for years and years. The mechanic helper also did the tires for the county equipment and the sheriff's vehicles. And I noticed on the agenda y'all want to hire an outside vendor to do the tires. The mechanic helper also did drove the tractor trailer and hauled material for all the precincts. Starting in the 2018 budget, which began 2017, we now have 2 mechanics, and each mechanic received a 25% increase in pay. That's approximate maybe, but from approximately $20 per hour to $25 an hour. The other county employees received 2% increase in salary. The candidates are now asking the taxpayer to furnish them uniforms and asking to pay a vendor to do this work on their tires. The taxpayers need to know that the mechanics each make a salary of $52,000 per year, plus health insurance cost at the taxpayer's expense of $10,000 a year, roughly, and a retirement plan that costs the taxpayers another $58,024, matching the
Not 58,000.
I'm sorry. Wait, could I finish?
But you said 58,000.
No, I'm sorry, $5,824, matching FICA $3,224, and Medicare $754. The salary of $52,000 is more than most of our elected officials. I'm talking about JPs and the county treasurer, most of them. And now it costs the taxpayers a total of $71,202 for each mechanic. And now they're asking the taxpayers for more. And it bothers me a great deal that we have a road engineer paying him great money to do it, and now he lets an employee come up here, 2 employees, and when they could be working to do this, he should be handling these items, not the employees. Those are all I have to say. I have copies of my statement if anybody wants them.
Any other questions, anything?
Yeah, what's prompted this uniform idea here?
Well, to start out with, we was just looking at the wear and tear on the clothing and everything that we have, and we didn't realize that there's a minimal cost to it. We'd had businesses here in town that we use and frequent had asked us why other, like the city and everybody else that they do business with, has uniforms, why we don't have uniforms saying who we are, who we work for, some kind of ideal. And between them asking us and everything else, we started looking at pricing on it. That's when we came to UniFirst and the buy board, and we found out that it was a small cost compared to what we thought it was going to be. We thought it was just going to be so high we couldn't afford it. But when we saw the cost on it, then we thought it was something that we would propose to the commissioners and everybody, and let them look at it and see if they'd be interested in something like this. And that's how we came to this, was basically from suggestions from businesses and stuff that we do business with.
But this is not just only in the mechanics, that's the whole, our
This is
outfit.
every employee in the county.
I've done this before.
Yes.
With a company I had.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, if it costs $345 a week or whatever it is you quoted, you can add 50% because it's going to be lost uniforms, it's going to be people leave without their uniform. I mean, there was something all the time. And after a few months, I quit the uniform business. I mean, it was very more expensive than what the price that I started with. That's my experience with uniforms. And I think the city buys their 3 or 4 shirts a year, shirts only, to their road hands. And that's their policy. They don't furnish uniforms or maintenance or laundry on them or anything.
Right.
And then they can lose them or whatever they want to, and the next year I think they might give them 2 or 3 more shirts. I'm not certain how it works, but
Did you have a high turnover rate in your business with employees?
normal. I don't know what's high or low. What you consider high or low.
If you go through a lot of employees, it can be an expensive venture.
Yeah.
But we do have insurance policies that you can add to this if you choose. My experience with municipalities, cities, and counties, the people that have those jobs stay with those jobs. I mean, they're good jobs. They're great jobs in this environment out there.
Yeah.
With the jobs you do, the benefits you have, and what you provide to the community, because most of the people I know that work for the cities and municipalities, you're the third county that I have dealt with. They like their jobs, they represent their county, they like being in the community, they're from the community. That is the experience that I have had. And they like the fact that if they choose to use a uniform program, it's showing a benefit that you, the governing powers, are adding that extra benefit to take care of their employees with the way they look, because that image they represent, also the lack of wear and tear on personal clothing, so they're not out that expense of the clothing, and the washing machine and dryers. I mean, these guys that are laying down like the new road stuff and the tar-based products they're getting on their clothes, just think what that'll do to your washing machine and dryer at home. So that is another advantage of the uniform business We have a lot of, like I said, we have a lot of people that choose to use it. It's like any other service company.
Well, tell us about that replacement cost. I've dealt with the same situation that Commissioner Riddle is talking about, replacement cost, damage cost. I mean, how do we quantify that?
Those prices have been established. On an agreement, we put the replacement cost on the agreement, so that price is established. If you have a piece of clothing, a garment, say you rip out a pant leg or a sleeve that you're unable to repair on our everyday repair, there is a cost for replacing that one garment. So that is established on the giddy-up, that is on the buy board pricing list. And then we replace that one garment.
Can you give us an idea of what that replacement cost is?
It varies on the garments. It would be like, well, on just a regular work shirt, 65-35 poly cotton blend work shirt that rents for 16 cents a shirt, probably the replacement cost on that, I'm just going to say anywhere from $21 to $23.
So we have no way really of knowing how often we're going to have to replace that stuff.
No, sir. On regular wear and tear of a 3-year program, we're going to replace the clothing as needed that has not been torn up through the course of 3 years. So say you get 18 months to 20 months wear out of a shirt, we see that it's wearing, we're going to replace it with a new one for no cost, just on everyday wear and tear. That's how we do our programs. So every dollar that you spend with us, we put 17 cents of that dollar back into your program to offset the cost of a replacement of wear and tear, everyday wear and tear.
And as far as like employees leaving and all, typically what other businesses do is they'll sign a release allowing the employee, for the employees to get uniforms. You sign a release that when you leave, if you don't turn your uniforms back in, you don't get your last paycheck until those uniforms have been turned in. That covers the cost of those uniforms. So if you have employees that do leave, you're not out the cost of those uniforms that way.
There is another alternative to that other companies have chosen to do. They will take out, say, $20 a paycheck till they get the cost of the uniforms paid for and put it into an account. And if that individual chooses to leave and not return the uniforms, then that offsets the cost of replacement on the uniforms. If the person does bring all the uniforms back, then you can issue that money back to that individual.
Okay. Jeff, are there any other benefits to the county? I mean, this is a nice deal, but it's basically just a slight raise for everybody, the way that I see it.
I think it's going to give you a much more professional look out the county and to the public and everything. Other than that, that's the benefits I have.
Well, the atmosphere in today's society, not with just municipalities, but the idea of governing agencies, there's a negativeness out there about that. Well, I mean, you look at TV now, and people say that when police come by to say something to an individual, they call it harassment. I have seen that with people that are edgy, I grew up in a small town. I still live in a small town, a lot smaller than here. And our municipality, we've got 6 guys. They wear uniforms. Everybody knows who they are, what they are, and they can offer assistance to people. That is, and in the other small municipalities, we put clothes in on workers. People notice who they are and what they are. So, I mean, it's that recognition of, like I said earlier, of these people are in the hometown, and they live here, and they work there, and they represent the community.
Okay, I'm going to recognize the gentleman from the back.
Mr. Chairman,
Come on up to the mic. Come on up to the mic.
This is really kind of off the wall because, quite frankly, every job I ever worked, I always furnished my own clothing, period.
Yes.
Okay? For the county to pick up a clothing budget at 300 and what?
330
Annually.
339 annually, that's times 18 employees, or how many employees?
18.
18 employees every year. you get to add a little more to the budget. County people, the people in this county right now are so upset about budget, it's not even believable. And we're gonna add something like this to the budget? Makes no sense, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry. He has a real good sales spiel, I understand, but forget it. Thank you.
Any other comments?
No, but it gets to be greed gets to be, you know, we all had rather give a gift than we had to receive a gift. A favor or to do something for someone than we all, most adults that I know had rather give than they had to receive. And for us commissioners to spend money like we do, we forget that we're not spending our money. We're not giving a gift to you, Jeff, by spending our money. We're spending the taxpayers' money. We're up here to represent the taxpayers. They trusted us to make good decisions. And we have the highest paid road hands in the area anywhere around here, much more than TxDOT. So I don't understand. We just want more and more and more from the taxpayer. Somewhere in here, greed gets to be the problem. And you just started here. You've got 2 mechanics. We only had 1 before. And yet you have run up the cost. Now you've got on this agenda to hire a vendor to do the tires. My God, is there an event to what you want? I want all of these things. I got some kids that want more than that too. And so I don't know. Somewhere wants and needs are different. And right now, I don't think there's a time for the taxpayers to be increased with wants. And this is a want as far as I'm concerned. Everybody don't like to wear the same kind of clothes and uniforms. And the part about having to look, a road hand, maybe this gentleman doesn't know what our road hands do, or mechanics. They're not in the public, they're out in the public every day, and those guys know them, and I'm talking about the citizens. They know who are there, who the employees are. And it may be in a bigger town or something that's different. But I just feel that it's, well, that's all I got to say.
Any other commissioner comments on this?
Do you have employees that want to help pay for their, you go get them and get them yourself?
Yes, the employees they had discussed that, and some of the employees was willing to pay for the uniforms themselves if need be in order to get the uniforms.
Well, what will the
To
gentleman
pay for these, to pay for a uniform service, or to buy a set of shirts like Commissioner Riddle was
Service.
talking about?
The service. Yeah, the service.
You could also, I have companies that split the cost as an employee benefit, 50/50.
Because they're going to start silk coating, and it's going to all get everywhere. It's, you know, it's, I wouldn't want to, I've worked in the pipe yard before, and they furnished us uniform because it was the pipe rope and stuff. But if the employee wants to pay for it, you know, it's, you know, I don't think we need to look at it either way.
You probably won't payroll deductions if employees pay for it, right? Or you going to collect from each employee?
It does have to be a payroll deduction.
You know, and then keeping up with that and the replacements and such is, you know, will be a bookkeeping difficulty for sure. Well, Jeff, I'm not going to bash you for having an idea, but...
Well, it was just a proposal. I mean, that's all
Yeah.
it is, you know.
Yeah.
So, no big deal.
But you know, like I said, is it a need or is it a want? I perceive it as a want, but I don't, you know, I'm not upset with you for suggesting it. I just don't think it's something that I'm interested in doing. I might be interested in providing some, you know, some uniform shirts, something like that for the guys at our cost. But as far as getting on a uniform service, the more I've thought about it, I just don't think I can support it, but I'm not going to make the motion.
I don't have a problem with the hands they want this service, I don't have a problem, because when you take those oily clothes home and you put them in that washer, you mess up some of the kids' clothes or the wife's clothes, if they want to pay for it, I don't have a bit of problem with that. The employees I'm talking about, because it's a whole lot cheaper. If you look at the big picture, when you're dealing with oil, you're gonna get it all over you. And definitely got stuff by itself and hope it doesn't come off in the washing machine. But if the employees would like to do that, I don't have a problem with that, Judge.
If the employees would like to do it, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
The uniform service only replaces the shirt every 3 years, is that what I heard you say?
No, so the length of the agreement to the Texas Law Board is 3 years. I said anywhere from 16 to 20 months if they wear the shirt out, we'll replace it. They're just everyday wear and tear.
But they get old.
If they get old, we're going to clean it, it'll stain the clothes, we'll get as much of it out as possible.
Whereas the deal, Al was talking about you buying a new shirt every year. Might be more practical, but
You know, I think as an employee, considering my rate of pay and considering the benefits of having this service, I think I'd be willing to pay for this out of my own pocket if they want to do that. We'd have to come up with an estimated cost of those replacements and such, and probably add to this cost. But I mean, I'd be willing to consider that.
Well, we've been doing it for years and years. Why all of a sudden do we need to spend some more money? I don't quite understand.
All right, anybody want to make a motion here?
I'll make a motion, we don't buy the uniforms or rent them either.
Okay. What would you be interested in supporting, providing this service for employees if they agreed to pay for it through payroll deduction?
I don't think, that'd be up to Carl. If they want to do the paperwork and keep up with it,
Okay, well, there's a motion that we not provide this. I don't know if there'll be a second. If not, suggest something else. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say, if the employees that would like to do it, I don't have any problem with them paying for it.
Okay. Well, first of all, I got a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second to do nothing. Motion is that we not provide uniforms, and there's no mention of providing them at employee cost, so I'm going to assume that does not include that option to the employees. Is that your second?
What was in there?
The motion that Commissioner Riddle made is, sorry, thank you, but we're not interested. And that would include, in my opinion, we're not interested in this, regardless of who pays for it, we're not interested in this service. Is that your second, or do you have something else in mind?
Well, if employees want to pay for it, then I don't.
Let's distinguish these, because there is going to be a cost to the county, and there's going to be some additional burden to our bookkeeping gals, especially in payroll, keeping track of this. So keep that in mind. But again, let's address this initial motion here first, and if that's not going to have a second, then we'll move on to another suggestion.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion and a second that thank you very much, but we're not interested in uniform service. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I've got 2 votes there. Nay? Nay? Nay. Okay. So we still got to make a decision here. I don't guess we have to, but is there another motion that anybody would want to make?
Make a motion that we let the employees, those that want to pay for this service.
Wait a minute, Mike. When I answered Al's question, you're gonna make it real complicated if we're not gonna make it where either all have to do it or none of them have to do it. I don't want to start doing payroll deductions for 5 people and it switch around all the time. So either they need to, all all agree to pay for uniforms, or none of them agree to pay for uniforms?
Okay.
I don't think they will all agree.
I don't think they will either, so, but you understand the problem with the job, it's gonna be a lot of paperwork.
Okay.
It'll be a lot.
I'll put that in my motion. They all decide to take it, or?
All or none?
All or none.
All or none?
But if they're paying for it themselves,
Yes.
you're forcing it on them.
No. They as a group decide. And I don't think the whole group will decide to take on that additional burden, but yeah, that is going to be a bookkeeping challenge. Even if all of them agreed to do it, it's going to be somewhat of a challenge. If you have them coming and going, and I've done this before, it's,
We don't have a lot of turnover in that.
You're not gonna have very few turnovers.
okay,
Either retirements or
You will in the next 2 to 5
somebody
years.
gets a better job.
okay. Well, right now, there's no motion on the floor. If we want to make a motion, did you make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, the motion from Commissioner Fields is if all employees in the maintenance and road department choose to utilize a uniform service that they would pay for through payroll deduction, and again, this would be, everybody would be included in this. Can we legally do that? I guess if they all agree to do it.
All agree to do it, that'd be 100% vote.
Okay, all right. So that is the motion. If the employees all as a group agree to do this, then the county would provide the bookkeeping service for payroll deduction and payment for the uniform service.
Second.
Second is by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone else opposed? Opposed, or did you say aye?
No.
Okay, you're a nay?
And I'm a nay.
And you're a nay. Okay, we got a 3-2. So you can say, okay, guys, we tried, but the court did not want to pay for this, but they will give you the option if you as a group agree to this payroll deduction for everyone, then we can do that. My guess is that they probably won't, and if so, then maybe I would probably consider supporting, purchasing a few uniforms for them to maintain at their own cost, something like that for identification purposes and to help with that burden. But for now, see what you get done. Don, you've heard our concerns here. I appreciate the service that you provide and your arguments, but we got to watch every nickel around here.
My community's in the same boat.
Okay, all right.
John, thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. All right, let's move on to item number 7 while you're here.
Oh, no,
Nope,
7. You're
7.
right. I'm one up.
Consider and possibly approve the use of Ronnie McCoo, a third-party vendor, to fix tractor flats during the busy months.
Yeah, and that was just kind of I've never been through the summer months with y'all, so we was looking at our workload and our schedule that we had when I came in and through this winter, and knowing that we were going to start chip sealing here pretty soon, which is going to take a lot of manpower and a lot of equipment. We was looking at the workload that we might have, and first is hiring somebody to help us in the shop, a part-time employee. What we was wondering if it'd be possible if we could hire Ronnie McCoo on an as-needed basis only, not to do all the flats. We're not trying to get out of the fixing the flats. But if we're chip sealing and me and Terry are tied up trying to keep the trucks or the chip sealer or whatever piece of equipment they're using on the road at that time rolling, so if they keep that system has to keep going, it can't stop. And if me and Terry are tied up there, we were looking at options of what we could do. Being able to call Ronnie on an as-needed basis would help us just fill that gap, Like I said, it's not something we're going to use him every week on or every flat or nothing like that. We're not wanting that. We're just wanting under workload conditions to be able to use
Will
it.
you clarify, like you did for me, what kind of flats we're talking about?
We're talking
I don't want
about
people
tractor
talk
flats.
thinking that every time we get a flat
No,
on it.
yes. Yeah, we're talking strictly on tractor equipment flats, tractors, backhoes. That's all we're talking about. We're not talking about like the police cars and doing flats on them and all that. We're not talking about none of that. We're talking about when we have to go out in the field and actually change a flat on a piece of equipment out in the field out there, and that's the kind of flats we're talking about.
That's, wait a minute.
Well, if we can get them to the shop, no. You know, if it's a dual that we can come into the shop with, no. It's just only when we have to go out in the field to do them. And like I said, it's not ever flat. We're just talking about as needed basis only. It's just like an emergency backup. We're just looking for this summer and what the workload's going to be like this summer.
I think you ought to stay here one summer and see what it's like. We did it with one man and one mechanic, and we hired a part-time mechanic for about 2 or 3 months. All of a sudden, why are we going to need them more? Not because we chip seal before. So that's not the reason. That's not a good reason. That's not a valid reason. And I just, it's amazing how you just moved in here and hit a gold mine. You just got money
Hey,
everywhere.
let's keep this subjective.
I'm sorry.
Objective.
I apologize for that.
Well, if you look at a part-time, if we looked at hiring a part-time person to work, to help us, say if you paid him $15 an hour, in 8 hours, that's $120. I can hire Ronnie cheaper than that. I can hire Ronnie at $80 to change a flat.
Give me an idea of what benefit this will be to the county. Let's say you get a call from one of these guys and going out. What does it take in manpower, time, vehicle, equipment to go out and change one of these big tires? I mean, if you can convince me that you're worth a lot more working on equipment than going out and spending 4 hours on a tire or 2 hours or an hour or whatever it is.
On a tractor tire, normally it's going to take us, depending on where we are in the county. That's another big thing, is where we are in the county. It's going to take us, it's going to take us an hour to get the tire off and get it in and break it down, and then you got to patch it, get it back on. You're talking about another hour. So you're 2 hours into the tire versus calling Ronnie and having him go do it. Like I said, I'm $50 into it when I go out there. I'm going to have a truck to go out there to do right now, which we do. But if we're tied up on other things in the county, that piece of equipment's down until we can pull off to go to it. I was just trying to look at what I can do to keep all your equipment running to make you as productive as you could be during the summer. And I'm figuring that equipment being productive is worth more money than setting still. So, because when that equipment's setting still with a flat and you're waiting, maybe, I don't know what the workload would be. And that's what I'm saying, it's as needed basis. It's not ever flat, it's just as needed. Because you've got the manpower that's sitting there running the equipment, he's sitting there waiting on it. You got to figure that into it. I'm figuring all those costs in there. Is that an answer?
Can anybody give me an idea of about how many flats on this type of equipment we have?
Oh, very few. Very few. 1
a week, 5 a week? What's few? I don't know what that is.
I'm going to say 1 every 2 weeks. Would that be close to right? 1 every 2 weeks. And like I said, I'm not wanting to use them on all of them. I just I'm looking for something that we can.
In a situation where you're in the middle of a major project and you're trying to get Roger's equipment back out there to work.
Rather than leaving that tractor down.
Yeah, and pulling you off, pulling you out of the shop.
Yeah,
pulling you out.
That's all I'm looking for is an emergency situation.
Okay.
And that's all we want.
An emergency situation that would mean better use of your time and your mechanic's time at the shop rather than pulling off and going and fixing a flat.
Yes.
That'll always be. That'll always be the case, I can assure you.
Would you want to go out there and change that big tire by yourself?
Do what?
Wouldn't you want to go out there and change that big tractor tire by yourself?
All you do is bring it into the terminal most of the time.
Well, if it's flat, how you going to bring it in? If it's flat, how you going to bring it in?
Put it on that truck. They got a little lift on that truck to put them on. We have a big truck for that purpose, and they bring them in.
Honestly, it does seem to me like for a flat fee of $85, it's not a bad idea. if I can keep you
It's
working,
$80.
$80,
Yeah,
if I can keep you working on important equipment and
right. It's a minimum cost compared to us. I mean, like I said, now, I'm not wanting to use them on all the flats. We do not want to do that. It's just on an emergency basis. Like I said, we were just looking, projecting what's going to happen in the summer when we get busy, trying to keep everything running. That's all we're looking for.
Do you realize how many pieces of equipment that we have? How many motor graders, how many backhoes? If one of them has a flat, that you got another piece of equipment you could back up. Are you familiar with how much we've got?
I know how many that we have to keep running to keep everything going.
Well, that's right, and there's a lot of spares. If you
Well,
don't,
in the months I've been here, we've had months where there were no spares.
in what equipment?
In like our tractors, more especially.
Tractor?
Side cutters and stuff like that.
Side cutters, those things will always be broke. But only side cutters, not the other mowers.
Same thing with the mowers and
You've been out of mowers? All of them's been busy?
we've had mowers. Well, we've had them all going that I knew of.
That's not right. That's not right.
Jeff, I'd be willing to give you the latitude to utilize this service on an emergency basis if we could stop this, say, at the end of September or whenever the busy season is, and allow us to reevaluate at the end of that time.
Right.
And my objective, my sole objective would be if I can keep you working on something that's a higher priority than fixing a flat.
And that's
at
my
$80, I'd give you that latitude, so I would support this.
And that's what we're looking for right there, is to be able to utilize our time more efficiently. That's all we're asking for. So.
All right. I guess we need a motion on this to allow the use of this third-party vendor to fix flats, and if you all want to consider that, not consider that, that's up to you. Put any kind of limitations on it that you want, if you even want to consider it.
Your productivity, did we have, we would have tires and rims set up there just in case where we could run and get. We're trying to do efficient engineering.
Right.
We're trying to get the most production we can with the least amount of money.
You're right.
And I see what you're trying to do there. If we can get a tractor back up going, then your productivity rate's going to continue
Correct.
to go do better. I don't have a problem with that because you get, and you're only going to call it if you have to have it. Y'all are out there.
That's correct.
Y'all are tied up because this has happened before. Our chipping machine here about 10, 12 years ago broke down. Wasn't a big deal, except the part was in Longview. We had to shut down for 2 hours, go get that part, bring it back, and it took about 15, 20 minutes to put it on. It wasn't a major deal, but you got everybody there and everybody shut down. And I'd hate for us to be seal coated or something out there. You got all these trucks, all these hands, all this equipment, and you need to be working out there and you're out here changing the flat on a tire or something. But to me, it needs to be an emergency situation where y'all are both tied up and cannot get out there.
That's the only time we're asking to use it. That is the only time.
And I agree with the judge about end of September.
June, July, August, September.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the only time. And like I said, and in that situation, I would call one of y'all and discuss it with y'all or Roger and talk with Roger before I ever make this call. We just need that latitude to have an option on the table to help us in that situation. That's all we're looking for.
If we're talking about one a week, I don't think you need to get too much.
At the most, if we're really not, like I said, me and Terry can handle them 90% of that time or more. So.
We've done this, Brian. We've done it before. We get a tire in tractors and take it over here on 49, whatever it was. We've done it before. We've had that latitude all the time, as far as I know. I don't think that this is anything new. We didn't call a vendor to go out and do the thing, but we had to call them to fix a couple of tires that we couldn't. We didn't have time or something. Ricky Joyner did it. And so we've done this. I'm really puzzled at why we have an employee up here instead of just handling this with Roger on a case-by-case basis. I'm puzzled. We have...
Well, I wanted you to hear it straight from him.
Well, I've talked to him.
Okay.
Not about that.
We got a
We're talking about
motion
the uniform.
here then, or do we even need a motion? Is it your consideration that he has the authority to do this anyway? I'd like to see us approve it myself,
Well,
so that we have some limitations on it.
I think that he's always had that authority. I mean, if we got in a jam to do it. I don't think I think that this is what puzzled me. We hired Roger to run this department. And why is it we always have a couple of employees doing it instead of him? They should be handling that with him, and he should come to us if he has a question. I'm really puzzled. I am really puzzled.
Anybody going to make a motion on this?
I don't have a problem you using the code.
Then make a motion. Just make a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Okay. Want to define that motion so that they've got clarity on this?
Second.
Well, let me define it first. We're going to allow the maintenance department, don't let me put words in your mouth, to, on an as-needed emergency basis, to allow third-party vendor Ronnie McCoo to fix tractor and
Just equipment, yeah.
large equipment,
Yeah.
tires in the field when maintenance department personnel are better needed in the shop.
Between June and September.
In whose
June through
opinion?
From June or from now through September?
June to September.
Yeah, that'd be good.
June to September. How about that?
That's fine.
Okay.
And I sure don't
Second.
have a problem putting on there when something like this happens, contact Roger.
Yeah.
And let
Yeah,
him know
I would,
why you're doing it.
Right. Definitely
Okay.
would.
Got that, Joyce? All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, presentation by Michelle Coburn. I'm tired of looking at all these guys. Step on up here. Michelle is with us, and she is our wonderful executive director for court-appointed special advocates, our CASA program, which, as you'll recall, is a great organization that provides badly needed services to juveniles who don't have anybody else to help them in these certain situations. And she's got a great volunteer staff in addition to herself. And so we annually celebrate about this time of the year. But Michelle, what can you update us on or tell us about or remind us about CASA?
Well, I've done quite a bit of work so that way you can see what we have done in the community and in the county to help the children in need. I'm going to ask Ms. Patty Lamb if she wouldn't mind passing out to all the commissioners, Your Honor, if that's okay, some information that I'd like to share with you that's been occurring since 2013, which is when our program started in Titus County. If you'll look at the second page, once Ms. Lamb passes that out.
And remind us, what were we doing before 2013?
Well, before 2013, Sulphur Springs, which is Lake Country CASA, was serving your county. Unfortunately, Sulphur Springs said that financially it was a tremendous burden for them to continue serving Titus County because the numbers are so great for child abuse and neglect. They have Hopkins, Rains, and Franklin County, and their numbers are a lot smaller. They had someone from Sulphur Springs come in for court, someone from Sulphur Springs try to recruit here, and it was very unsuccessful. We need someone local taking care of local kids, and so it has really blossomed, and I'm going to show you how, Your Honor. And we started September of 2013, and one of the things about our nonprofit organization that I want everyone to know is that we're part of the law. So most nonprofit organizations are not. We're part of the Texas Family Code, which means that every child that comes into foster care is required to get an attorney ad litem and a guardian ad litem. Guess who pays for that guardian ad litem? You do. Our taxpayer dollars do. So that's really important to know, that we can get incredible volunteers like Miss Patty Lamb to be able to serve our community and help these children in ways that most attorneys cannot do or will not do because they don't get paid to do that. We have actually been to Arkansas, Oklahoma, and I'm on my way to Austin today after this meeting, and then I was in San Antonio last week. So we visit children that are from our county, wherever they are placed, to make sure they are safe, doing well, and have all the resources available to them to succeed as citizens whenever they come back to Mount Pleasant, because they will come back. So if you'll look at that page that I gave you, most attorneys, either in Titus, Camp, or Morris County, and those are the counties we serve, get paid $65 an hour $5 an hour. In Titus County, I am certain that it's $75 an hour. And if you'll notice in 2013, 2014, and I rolled those together, Your Honor, because we started at the end of 2013, we put in 1,593 hours into Titus County children alone, which if an attorney had done that, it would have cost the county at $75 an hour, $119,493.75 in county fees. And that's for the attorneys. So it is a tremendous savings to our county to be able to provide this service. I will tell you, this number cannot be looked at 100% accurately, as Judge Mason in Camp County and Angela Saucier, the county attorney, pointed out to me, because she said there is no way an attorney is going to put that amount of time into our children. So she said it's a tremendous bonus on top of the savings that our children get what they need, and they get a lot more hours than normal from an attorney. So, and then if you look in 2015, sir, it was $106,000, $106,087.50. In 2016, it was $228,562.50 savings to the county to have our CASA volunteers serve these children versus attorneys. And then in 2017, you can see that it reduced a little bit, well, significant, $142,518.75. A lot of people asked, why was there a significant drop? I will tell you that we have a wonderful commissioner. If he doesn't know it by now, I am one of his biggest fans, Commissioner Hank Whitman, who is the new DFPS commissioner for the state of Texas. He is doing a tremendous job. I've met with him on a couple of occasions and had the opportunity to speak to him about my concerns for our rural counties. And he does a great job. He is, of course, a former ranger, so he goes for the investigation state of it. And he has done great, great work in making sure that those that are just there to do a job and get a check is not always going to be there. He expects great standards from his folks, and we're seeing great improvements as far as the numbers. Now, of course, child abuse is increasing, and I have those numbers for you as well. But this is specific to our county, and I thought you would like to see that. Before I proceed, does anyone have any questions about these numbers? These are all volunteer hours, translated times $75 an hour. So if a guardian ad litem, one of my volunteers, is not appointed, the county will have to pay, because it's required by the law, an attorney to do what we do.
How many volunteers make up these total hours here?
I'm so glad you asked that question. We started in 2013 with 3 volunteers. We now have 70. And I am telling you, it is phenomenal. We are no longer out there beating the bushes, recruiting for people. People are calling us and saying, we want to do this because we see the difference it's making. And I will also tell you that children in foster care that have a CASA volunteer appointed to their case spend less time in foster care. And it costs $11.45 a day for every child in foster care. And that's just basic level children. That's not special needs children. And we have a lot of special needs children. Does anyone have any questions about those numbers? No? Okay.
Are your volunteers going to be as loving and compassionate as our lawyers?
Are they? Well, since I'm
I
married
know
to
the answer
one,
to that. I've got,
No lawyer in here, is there?
well, since I'm married to one, I have to be very careful in how I answer that question, but.
well, I only bring that
I
up
know.
because your volunteers are volunteering because they want to be doing this. They do care about these kids, they love these kids, and, our lawyers have got plenty to do, but.
Yes, sir.
I've got a couple that's in my Sunday school class has been a volunteer, and they ask us to pray regularly for the kids that they have anything to do with, and there's some pitiful situations that'll break your heart, and I'm just glad I've got people like those friends of mine that are volunteering, and you're 70 folks that obviously put in a good bit of time to be spending 3,047 hours a year. This is a lot of
It's a lot
work.
of hours, yes, sir. And, we are blessed with, I wish we had 1,000 Patty Lambs in our organization, but we're blessed with several folks like Miss Patty Lamb that take on more than just one case at a time. So whenever someone says they volunteer, sometimes it could be up to, Patty's been at our office every single day this week, and she's a business owner, and, she's very active in her church and very active in our community. And so we have tremendous people that love our children, and they want a better community for these want children to participate in our community and make it a better community. So I think the state numbers will astound you, as well as some of the other information I give you. But last year, 63,657 children were confirmed to be abused and neglected, and that's in the state of Texas. That is 8.5% increase from last year. 50,293 children were in the care and custody of the Department of Family Protective Services due to abuse and neglect in 2017. 295,485 reports of abuse and neglect were made to CPS, which is up 2.1% from 2016. 174,740 investigations of abuse and neglect were completed last year, and that's up 4.8% from 2016. 19,782 children were removed and placed in substitute care, which is an increase of 4.2% from last year. And CASA of Titus County and Morris counties, along with statewide CASA community, has provided, so the state of Texas has 10,424 volunteers. Do not get paid a dime, they do not get paid mileage, they do not get paid anything to serve the children in the state of Texas. Now, 10,000 volunteers were one of the largest nonprofit volunteer-based organizations in the nation. And CASA volunteers served 29,747 children in the state of Texas. So with those 10,000 volunteers, we served 29,000 children in the state of Texas. In the 254 counties in the state of Texas, 213 of them have CASA programs. And I'm actually looking into taking on a few more counties if the state will allow us.
They need to.
They need to, I agree, sir. There's still only 71 programs in the state of Texas. We're the 71st. And we've been in existence for 5 years. So no one has reached out to take on more counties. And I think that's something that we feel obligated to do, if the Lord permits, to help more children that are in care. Our goal is to eradicate foster care, to get rid of child abuse and neglect. I would love to have a job working at Herschel's or doing something different than this. This is not a fun job, but I am very, very blessed to know these children, and I'm very blessed to be a voice for them and to give them something to hope for in the future, because a lot of them don't have any hope.
How many kids did you work with, looking at these last couple of years? How many kids in our program were handled in those 2 years?
In 2017, we had 195 children. The year before that, we had 167. If you'll notice the blue pinwheels on the lawn, and we thank you so much for allowing us to decorate your square with blue ribbons, and thank you for wearing your blue ribbon and allowing us the time to speak with you today. Of the 195 children that were in foster care in Titus County and Morris County, 98 of those children are right here in Titus County.
From Titus County? 98?
Yes, sir. 98 of the 195. And I know that just sounds like a number, but Miss Patty and Crystal, could you show them the poster beneath your seat, please? I just want you to get a visual of what that is. So this is 195 handprints on a piece of paper. And if you take that heart and you cut it a little bit more than half, that's how many children were in Titus County that had abuse and neglect in 2017. That's too many. So instead of focusing on the negative, I'm going to tell you about the positive. I'm on my way to Austin once I leave here, because we are trying to try something new in the state of Texas, which is kind of interesting for Austin, as liberal as they are. But I believe church and state has been divided way too long when it comes to children in foster care and with abuse and neglect. We have kept everyone divided, and we say that only the state is the ones that should be raising these children. They are not a parent. They're a poor parent. They were never trained to be a parent, but we give these children to the state to raise. Our Department of Family Protective Services does a really good job. They really do. They have hard jobs. We work very closely with them now. We have built a bridge in the last 5 years to be able to help them. We've provided a place where they can come, and donations are welcome for parents that have their children, and let's say the baby's born addicted to methamphetamines and we take the baby right away from the hospital. That child doesn't have diapers, formula, a baby bed, nothing. So we accept donations so we can help these families. We don't ask anyone to pay for that. We have wonderful citizens in our community that donate that to us, and we've given CPS a key so that they can come and use our facility to help families in need. I believe that it is time to involve the church with the state. So I have been meeting with a group in Austin at the state office about conversations with clergy. And we are asking churches, local and state, to step up to the call. We believe that a lot of these families are failing. We're getting second and third and fourth removals in families because they use drugs. They go to a rehab for 30, 90 days. They come back and they fall off the wagon again. So we have to remove the children again and again and again. This is costing every one of us a ton of money, a ton of money. So we are asking churches to step up and have a wraparound service for these families. We're not just telling them to go to rehab. We have people that are going to walk alongside of them. There's a gentleman, the second flyer that you received. His name is Bishop Charles Aaron Blake. And Bishop Blake is in the Austin area. He has been a pastor for 40 years. And he decided, him and his wife, to do this themselves in Brownsville, Texas, when they lived there, and he was pastoring there. And he said, if we want others to change, we must change ourselves. So he and his wife adopted 6 teenage boys out of foster care. Then he asked his church to do the same. I need everyone to take in a child or be responsible for a child or help a child in foster care or a family so we can get this thing back on track. He is now in 14 states and incredibly successful. He started with 13 churches, his being the first. Bishop Aaron Blake is a dear friend. He is coming to Mount Pleasant on April the 17th to Tennyson Methodist Church right here in Mount Pleasant, free of charge to me, so that he can talk to churches and congregations in our area about answering the call. So it's no longer a taxpayer's problem, it is a family problem and a church problem, which I believe is going to be the answer to all of this. So Austin's a little concerned about me taking my religion hat off when I'm supposed to, but like I am, it's not a hat, it's who I am, and I believe that God and church is the only thing that's going to change this. So I would like to invite y'all to come to the lunch. My husband and I are providing the lunch. We're not asking anyone to pay for it. To come and listen to Bishop Blake, who is an ambassador for orphans. He won the award for the state of Texas, not even a few months ago, from Commissioner Hank Whitman, on helping a ton of children, scales and scales of children, get out of foster care and find permanent forever families. So we're not paying for these children until they age out of care. And they're learning how to have values, how to become productive citizens, and not fill up our jails or our morgues with children that are aging out of care. So I'm really excited about going back there today. I'm a little tenacious about the whole thing, and I feel that it's important. And I think, you know, if I'm going to be the voice for these children, I really need to give them a powerful voice. And I think that God can make a difference in this, and I believe that He will. And I think this is the start. And we are going to do this in Titus Camp and Morris counties. Bishop Blake will do 3 speaking engagements while he was here on the 17th, and he said he's here to work. So we really appreciate him, and he's won tons of awards for his work with children in foster care. So, does anybody have any questions?
Michelle, the only thing I want to say is when Hopkins County came to the conclusion that they could, and I appreciate you and all the volunteers, y'all stepped up to the plate. A lot of times you don't see that. These kids have to have this care, and I'm going to tell you what, I'd rather spend money helping the kids this way than putting them in jail as they get older and they end up in jail in our prison system.
That's right.
And I really appreciate y'all. You don't know how much children are our future of this county, of this state, and of this nation. And if we can get them turned around and go in the right direction, that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir, I believe that too.
We need to leave this old place a little bit better than what we found. So
Yes, sir, and I believe that we will.
do appreciate all of you for what all that you do. It has made a difference, a big difference.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Is there any other questions that I can answer for you, or?
No, I know that we give a meager contribution, I believe, to CASA, but we sure get a lot of benefit out of it. Thank you for initiating this program here in this town and for building up your volunteer base and for providing something that I don't know how else it could be provided for, attorneys or not, money or not. I know what you provide is very real and very serious, and it is very beneficial. So thank you all. Thank you,
Thank
ladies,
you. And
for
if you have
coming in.
time to come to the lunch, we certainly would love to see you. I think you would fully enjoy Bishop Blake's speech, and he's here for a call of action. He wants to make a change here in Mount Pleasant, and so do we. Thank you so much.
Michelle, all I want to say is God bless you and your volunteer.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We would appreciate your prayers for our children. Like I said, we ended 2017 with 195, and just the other day we had a family of 6 children removed from one parent. So it's a tremendous work, and we just feel like we need to be helping more than just the child. If we can help the family become successful and get back on their feet as well and help them to become productive citizens, we're going to start with the children, but we certainly need to wrap around the family as well. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you again. All right, item number 9, Steve Austin, come up and tell us about this agenda item. And let me read this. Consider and possibly approve the Historical Commission application to the Historical Commission of Texas for a state antiquities landmark designation, which is found in the Smithsonian Art and Sculpture Inventory, or will be found there. Fees and other costs associated with the notice and application to be paid for from donations held in the Titus County Commission's Markers, Memorials, Monuments, and Statues Fund. All right, Steve, what do you want to do here?
The primary purpose of today's agenda request is to give the commissioners basically a status report. The Historical Commission, as chairman, I made application to the State Antiquities Committee for recognition for our Confederate statue. In that correspondence, one of the requirements also is that it be listed on the National Registry, and that process has also been embarked upon. My main purpose here today is to ask the court if it has any questions about the purpose or the requirements or the need for this activity, so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah, why do we have the need for this? What is the purpose of this?
One of the things that the Titus County Historical Commission wanted to do was to set our statue apart from others that you find in the media quite often, promoting the battle banner of the Confederacy or the perpetuation of slavery or that attitude. The statute in Titus County is unique in its concept in that exactly the opposite is portrayed from this particular monument. And I quote from Reverend Seals, who addressed the attending veterans in 1909. We are not here to discuss politics, but to mingle as one common people. The white flag of peace has been hoisted in our country, and the bitter animosities endangered 45 years ago are remembered no more. And I point to the statue itself. It embellished a battle banner, Confederate flag, on the north face of the pediment. But I give you note that the flag is furled and the staff is broken. That's symbolic of that idealism has been overthrown, that equality from this point on shall be the banner in which our country is engendered. Our Confederate soldier symbolizes military service, not only of the Confederates, but Union soldiers as well. We go back to the origination of Memorial Day. It came about as a result of Southern ladies decorating the graves of Confederate soldiers with flowers and finding among them numbers of Union soldiers. Rather than turn their backs, they placed flowers on the Union soldiers as well. The military personnel at the time witnessed this and supported it, and from that point on, Decoration Day became Memorial Day, in which the service of all soldiers is recognized. We do not look at the statue as symbolism of other than anything than just the military service of brave individuals, and not just on one side of the flag. I particularly use that the statue in itself as an education tool. Annually we have elementary schools and middle schools tour the courthouse and grounds. And one of the things that on my tours that I point to is the Confederate statue itself. And I point specifically not only to the quotations, but to the furled flag and the broken staff, and try to instill to the students that if we do not remember our history, we're doomed to repeat it, and that's a place where we do not want to be. So I'm here to answer any questions that the commission may have about the purpose or intent of what we're attempting to do, and certainly open to your suggestions on the pursuit of this state antiquities recognition. I would point out that our statue is over 106 years old, being in place. It originates from donations that began to be received in 1909, and it's again, it's generic in nature. It does not symbolize an individual or a particular point of view. It's a common everyday soldier, better known as the silent sentinel, and is there on watch in pursuit of freedom and equality.
If this application is granted, what does that mean? Does this protect this statue? What does it mean exactly?
It offers relative protection. The Commissioner's Court, by previous action and more recent action during World War I commemoration, became the controlling entity of record of all properties on the all statues and memorials on the property of the courthouse. That had been in place prior to that, but was reinforced as a result of the World War I commemoration. The state antiquities recognition does require that any considerations or activities directed toward the statue or the monument come before the Commissioner's Court and possibly the voters as well. The National Registration or National Registry is protective in that they cannot be modified or moved or relocated or enhanced without appropriate action, which gives time for level heads to prevail. There are current laws that provide that same ability, but it's there to provide input, and that's the purpose of the Historical Commission's directive to request that. Again, it would be a matter that would be brought before the Commissioner's Court in any endeavor.
If a future Commissioner's Court decided they had other ideas about that statue and wanted to move it or remove it or whatever, does this action here granted by this application take away that authority from the Commissioner's Court?
No more than is already in place. The state of Texas at this point in time would also have to be involved. No action could be taken without a presentation or notice given to the Texas Historical Commission and the state of Texas itself, because it's on courthouse property. The National Registry is a little bit different. It all deals with time and steps and requirements, but there is no prohibition. It's just step by step through the law.
When you say a commissioner of the Historical Society or of what? Or for the state of Texas, a commissioner for the state of Texas, that's the Historical Society? What does it mean?
The Texas Historical Commission.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's have a commissioner, a state commissioner?
That's a state agency, Texas Historical Commission.
And why do you need the approval for this? I'm confused.
As the Titus County Historical Commission,
Yeah.
I'm reporting to this controlling entity of the application to the state of Texas and to the National Registry. The statue is listed in the Smithsonian inventory under art and sculpture already, and that's one of the stepping stones that we've utilized to get to this point. But in my capacity as chairman of the Titus County Historical Commission, I'm notifying the Titus County commissioners of this activity so that you can give me input as to carry on or stop.
Well, I guess I'm wondering, is a vote here today, and I'm going to recognize one or two of these gentlemen in the audience and allow them to speak. I guess I'm wondering if my vote today is construed as my support for that statue. And I'm not saying that I support it or don't support it, but this has been a hot topic item in recent years. And so I want to know what I'm voting on here. If I'm voting on absolute protection for that, and that means that my future county judge or commissioners have given up certain rights by the vote that they take today, I want to know that.
Right. Again, the purpose of the presentation today is not to request that you have to vote in any capacity. It's to give you information of the process that is currently in place that the Titus County Historical Commission is undertaking to apply for state antiquities landmark status. In doing that, one of the requirements is to apply to the National Registry. So I'm merely informing the court that is what we're attempting to do and seeking your support. Again, it's not something that requires the Commissioners Court to take action of approval or disapproval
Okay.
in any formal capacity.
So our vote here today doesn't dictate what you can do with this application.
Right, and you're not required to vote in that regard as well.
If we voted to take no action, how would that affect you?
None.
Okay. Let me recognize one or two of these gentlemen out here that would like to talk.
I'm Larry Joe Reynolds, and I just wanted to address the court. I applaud and commend Mr. Austin on his effort to get our monument status of actually more than what it's got now, where he's asking to go to Austin to make it a part of the Texas Historical Commission, not only the Titus County. I served 23 years in the Army. When I returned from Vietnam, I was assigned to Denton, Texas as an Army recruiter. As an Army recruiter, I was required to go out to the college to start my recruiting process because that's where we wanted the men. Out there, I got spit on, I got paint threw up on me, I got anything and everything done. Called every name. I could do nothing because I was a military man and I had to respect and defend the uniform. Today, I'm trying to defend our monuments. Thank God, the men coming back from the war today is treated a lot better than we were in Vietnam. But now it's our monuments, and not just Civil War. We're looking at all monuments. We're looking at Sam Houston they're trying to take down. George Washington they're trying to take down. Christopher Columbus they're trying to take down. I just think we need to stop and let things be restful. We've got a lot of beautiful monuments. That monument cost us a lot of money, and I'm talking about us. I'm talking about the individual donations of people from Titus County that made to erect that monument. We've got other markers here at the courthouse that will be coming up in recent years, or not too long from now, that we want to get them also recognized, even up to our Vietnam veterans. It's time we start recognizing some of our soldiers and sailors who come back from war, and especially those who don't come back from war. And I just applaud Mr. Austin on attempting to get this moved farther up the line. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Steve. Thank you.
One of the other things that I'd like to do today is give you information and update the status of another group, the Talco Cemetery Association. Do you have any members in attendance? Y'all come forward, please. This group has made application to the Texas Historical Commission for historical cemetery designation of the Talco Cemetery. And I'd like to let a couple members of the Talco Association address the Commissioners Court and bring them up to speed on their application.
Okay, we really didn't prepare to talk or anything, but what we just have done is made an application for our cemetery that's located in Talco in Titus County, just to try to get a designation of a historical marker for our cemetery. And this is just kind of a background. In 1912, the now town of Talco was relocated from its original site of Gouldsboro, designating land for the Talco Cemetery. The first deed that we found for the cemetery was in volume 36, page 190, dated 3/10 of 1915. The second deed was found in volume 311, page 99, that was donated by Leora Clore Stevenson, who was my great aunt. And it was dated in June the 10th of 1965. The third deed that we found was in volume 766, page 275, and was dated May the 2nd of 1993, and was donated by James Oral Giger. And so these were the dates that we can prove that our cemetery is over 50 years old and really closer to over 100 years old. The current Talco Cemetery Association was established in June 14th of 2014 with articles of association, constitution, bylaws that were dated March the 21st of 2015. The current activities include monthly or quarterly meetings with officers and trustees and community members. Twice a year, we're involved in a cleanup and fundraisers are held. The maintenance includes leveling of grave depressions, gravestones repairs, mowing and tree trimming, fence repairs, and road repairs. And we've also erected a monument that is in recognition of all of the service people in our community that are buried within that cemetery. This is Patty, and she's our secretary for the association, and I'm a trustee. And our president, I know probably a lot of y'all know, is Bruce Case, and he's in the hospital right now suffering from leukemia, and so he's under treatment. So we just appreciate y'all recognizing that we're trying to recognize our history that is big here in Titus County. So, and we appreciate Mr. Austin's help. Thank you.
One of the significant attributes of the Talco Cemetery, they mentioned the number of veterans. There are probably 8 Civil War veterans, about 10 World War I veterans, 1 Spanish-American War veteran. It looks like 25 World War II veterans, 4 Korean War veterans, 2 Vietnam War veterans, and significantly of record, the first line of duty loss within Titus County. Constable Edward Price was killed in the line of duty. It was then Precinct 8 in Winfield, March 22nd, 1933. That's all that I have to present to the Commissioners Court today. Again, primarily informational purposes, but if at any point in time in the future, if Commissioners would like to give me any input or direction on any course of the Historical Commission, please do so. I'm at your disposal. Thank you.
So again, lastly, you don't need us to take any action today?
No, you're not required to take any action as a result of the presentation, or unless you want to tell me, give me any specific direction for any specific purpose, just let me know. Yes, sir.
In our statue out there, of course, we were supposed to open that up here, the lower part of it. Does it, I know y'all did some x-raying and some different things like that. Did you ever find the spot where the cylinder would be with all the...
Well, the location of the time capsule that we referenced back in the centennial celebration has not been pinpointed, so I can't tell you today that it's actually located within the pedestal of the statue. There is some thought given to the fact that it would be in front of the bottom of the base where the soldiers facing north is overseeing the placement of the capsule. So it may be under the entrance, it could be under the statue itself, it could be inside the pedestal. At this point in time, an attempt to find the time capsule itself would be cost prohibitive for any endeavor, and I don't see that we'll probably pursue that in the near future without some more specific pinpoint information.
I just wondered about it because that was really fascinating to me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're almost certain that the time capsule is there. We found some references to it. We haven't seen anything in black and white or print that designates where the time capsule was buried. but we've seen enough evidence to feel confident that there was a time capsule place. We just don't know the location.
Very good. All right, thank you, Steve. Unless there's anybody that wants to take this item any further, I'll consider this update by Steve Austin, and thank you, Steve, for the work that you do.
Yes, sir.
Item number 10, discuss alternatives to providing dumpsters during cleanup week. We obviously had some glitches along the way, and it's been brought to my attention by commissioners as well as members of our community that maybe there's a better alternative to providing these dumpsters in the future. And so I put it on the agenda, not because I have any specific requests of you, but considering what the service that we provide, the cost that it requires of the county, would there be better alternatives that would better serve our community? And so
one thing you're going to have to educate the people for some reason, and I did this a couple of years ago and it really worked well, but I had a sign, my wife, no tires, no batteries, you know, those type things, and I let everybody know that I could, that and they did different things, but they'd do the community or they'd send out email or something like that to people that it's open, but you can't put this, 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 this. Also, I think it caught us this year where we had a holiday on Friday and Saturday, and we were just overwhelmed on Friday, more so than what we thought we would have. So I think it's a very successful program. I know the people really enjoy it out there and have a place to get rid of the stuff. Most of the people are law-abiding. They're going to go to the dump if they have stuff to put, but you always, and it's not a week goes by, I don't pick up tires, TVs, stuff just thrown out on the road somewhere. And that's one of your major problems. I know Roger having to go pick up stuff that people, if you get a name, prosecute them. I'll file against them if they're in my precinct. They know better than that. Tires and stuff like this, people's got to the point, they throw them in those dumpsters and we have to pay for them, we have to pick them up. It's very costly. You know, it's like anything you might have, it usually starts out as a good thing and people really appreciate it, but you're always going to have people abuse it. We also can put cameras up there if we need to and record some things and catch people doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. But first of all, I think we've got to educate the people, and the paper can help us out a great deal there by saying these are the things you can do. Also, we can put signs. The year that we put signs up, we had very good results. We didn't have batteries and didn't have any tires, and where I put the signs at. So I think we can do some things different, but I do think it's a very good program.
does anybody know if a county resident is allowed any free trips to our landfill? I know
Two
city,
times.
2 times.
If you've got a Tabor sanitation or any kind of sanitation in the county that picks your trash up, you can go to the city department, water department up here and get 2 vouchers a year.
Would the majority of our county residents have some kind of trash service, or do we have a significant number of residents that do not have a trash service?
I see a lot of trash in the county that they've got trash dumpsters and stuff.
Well, I personally am about ready to just start promoting the fact that there are free vouchers available, if that is in fact true, and let people go to the landfill at their convenience rather than providing these dumpsters. I just, I don't know, I've gotten a bad taste in my mouth listening to this year, and it sure costs us a lot of money. Now, the question is, will we be doing ourselves more harm by taking away this service, or would we be better off promoting the alternatives to providing these dumpsters? If you would like to, yeah, if you'd like to come up, Buffalo, please do. I told you you'd get a chance.
You know, I live right off the corner of 49 and FM 1000. Jim saw what was going on. Jimmy and I both looked at what was happening. These people were up there until midnight, a couple of nights, taking it out to see what they could salvage, okay, and leaving it scattered all over the lot. I'm sorry, that's not what that's designed for, my understanding. I didn't use the service this year because I just point blank was so disgusted by what I was observing that I just went on and burned it in my burn pile and called it good, you know, and that was just basically it. The abuse this year was beyond anything I've seen since I've been in the county, and it was extreme. Out at the Y on 271, same scenario. Everybody's in there digging stuff out, going to be junkers and grab it and take it and whatever. Now, I think Jim and I talked about maybe a voucher. I think you even talked to me about it. If we do twice a year a voucher for citizens where they can come to the courthouse, pick up their voucher, go take it to the dump, and all of them have a specific list of no-nos, as you will. They can take their junk, go to the dump with it, get rid of it. They're going to have to haul it anyway. Just go an extra mile or two out to the dump and get it done. Because quite frankly, down the east line of Ray McKelvey's property, there is so much trash back in those trees from the wind getting it after they had it scattered all over that lot. It's going to take a team to go in there and clean it up. Literally. It was an extreme abuse of the system. It really was.
Support elimination of the dumpsters?
Yes, sir, I do. Absolutely. Let's do a voucher system. Let's set up some kind of voucher system where they can get a voucher from us twice a year here at the courthouse.
What if those vouchers cost the county, and I don't know that they do, but if they tell me, no,
Well,
there's no voucher system.
Did you get an estimate of what this cost yet, Jimmy?
Not yet, I haven't, no.
Because one person told me that they figure it's going to probably cost us close to $60,000 this year.
You have any
for that
idea?
service.
I don't think it's that much.
Budget 29,000 is our budget.
You had 4 truckloads of tires, I think it was, or 3, wasn't it? Jim just went out up there where I was at.
I think it was 3. I know of 3.
3 truckloads. These are 10-wheelers loaded with tires.
Well, we'll
That's
find
$2
out.
each.
We're going to find out. We'll get the final billing. Today's not an action item.
Right.
But let's find out what the total cost us this year and maybe the last couple of years to provide this service. And
Because I
that'll
think,
help
yeah,
us.
we need to really reevaluate the whole thing.
And then we can decide.
I love the aspect that we have that courtesy for the county. But if you're going to have people come in and abuse it like they did this year,
Yeah, defeating the purpose.
yeah, it's defeating the purpose.
We're going to have over $20,000 worth of tires.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know. Just tires alone.
Tires alone's going to be about 20.
So,
I'm sure individuals alone dump those tires.
They could be coming from Morris County, they'd be coming from
we
anywhere.
don't know where they came from. See, here's the problem. People were coming in there
right.
to midnight at night.
Buffalo, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasant Oaks, by the
Ma'am, if you'd like to come on up.
Pleasant Oaks is the one. They know where it is. Okay. Jenny Chisholm here, Precinct 1, and I've witnessed the wonderful dumpsters out on 271. Best yet is I enjoyed the people. I mean, I have never seen such people. I mean, where do they come from that digs through dumpsters like that? There's germs out there and stuff. Oh, my God. I mean, it was amazing. But no, back to Pleasant Oaks landfill, you can dump 900 pounds for $16, okay? I mean, I think that's the basic rate and stuff. And anybody, because it's a public, I guess you call it a public or something, I don't know all the official titles, but you're a resident here, you can dump out there. I mean, it's for $900.
$16, you can take a trailer full out there.
Well, yeah, I think it's $900 to $16.
900 pounds.
900 pounds is $16. I think that's the minimum, or the last time I asked.
Okay,
And stuff, and I took stuff out there before.
okay.
I think the ton rate out here is only like $30 per ton.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
I know there was a boy that was out, went to the one out here on 49 that Buffalo's talking about, and he called me and he said, I'm not dumping out there. He said, I'm going to the dump with mine. They charged him $17.50. He had a 16-foot trailer loaded down, and they charged him $17.50. So,
Good deal.
I mean, it's something that I have received numerous calls about, hey, we don't want to see this anymore. This is ridiculous, and we don't want to see it. I spent about 2 hours out there in Ray McKelvey's pasture the second day after we started picking up trash because of,
But
the
part
way
of
it
that
looked.
was the late arrival of the dumpsters,
Part of it was.
but not all.
I'll agree, but not all of it. No, we had more people, and I run several off from down there that were digging through it. And it was pitiful the way they were doing this year.
I wonder why it's gotten
I can't
different.
imagine where they were going with all of it, but there was a guy told me that he knew of one guy that had took 19 loads of scrap metal to the scrap yard. I can't see that, but he told me that did happen. So I think it's something that here, before we do it again, that we've got to look at it real hard.
Yeah, Jimmy, we still got to clean up that fence line over there.
No,
Okay,
never
Christie,
have.
why don't we do this? Why don't you, when you get a final total that we pay a bill out there for this service, let me have that information. I'll bring that back to you. I'll also find out from the landfill what would be required for a county resident to dump out there at no charge and with charge. See if there is indeed a voucher system available for a couple of dumps a year. And we're not going to be doing this again for a long time anyway. And maybe we can start the public education system for an alternative. So
I know that when they went out there, they couldn't even pick the dumpsters up till the guys got out there and cleaned it away till they get to it.
Okay. All right, well, no good deed goes unpunished, apparently.
It's true.
All right, unless there's anything else, we'll await some additional information on that, and we'll take future action on that. All right, let's move on to item 11 with our county official reports.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, Buffalo.
Fair weather fans. Believe me.
I make a motion we approve oral and written reports.
Okay, motion's made by Commissioner Parker for approval.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, there are none. Item number 12 is our treasurer's report.
Thank you.
Make that motion.
Motion's made by Commissioner Fields for approval of the treasurer's report.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 13 is our budget amendments. No budget amendments. Good deal. Item 14 is approval to pay our bills.
Make a motion to pay our bill.
Motion by Commissioner Parker. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 15 is closing comments. I can't think of anything myself. I meant to bring this up in the last one. I made my first approval for community service by an individual to be done in the form of picking up trash. So maybe we can make that a more common thing rather than overburdening our service organizations with individuals in the probation department. Maybe we can get them doing some work like this that would be beneficial for us as well. I don't think I have any other comments. Jimmy?
No, I don't. I can't think of anything right now.
Dana?
No.
Mike?
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for a lengthy meeting that I didn't think would be lengthy, but all good information. Did you have something? I got a motion by Commissioner Fields for adjournment and a second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a good afternoon.